to discuss two cases. I'll take a break between and answer any questions you may have on the first one, and then I'll move into the second one. And I think for the second one, you're not going to have any paperwork for that yet. But once we get done here, if you want to stand by and get it then, or we'll get it to you through another means. The first one I'd like to talk about is going to be the arrest of Todrick Nelson Lee. He's a black male, 20 years old. The victim in this case is going to be Henry Underwood Jr. He's a black male, 57 years old. And the second victim, who is still living, she's a black female, 22 years old. On January 4th, patrol officers responded to Eden's Edge Apartments for a person shot call. When they arrived, they entered the apartment and discovered the victim, Henry Underwood Jr., inside a bathroom, suffering from a gunshot wound. Mr. Underwood died at the scene. There was no one else inside the apartment. Police then learned that the suspect, who is our second victim's boyfriend, transported her and her two children to UF Health. When questioned, or actually, we did actually meet with the suspect. We questioned him, and then we released him afterward. He basically told us that an unknown suspect had entered the apartment and began shooting, missing him and basically striking Mr. Underwood as well as his girlfriend. Through the surviving victim, she was able to communicate with us and told us that her boyfriend, the suspect, shot her father and then shot her. The suspect was arrested at his apartment without incident on January 7th at 9:30 p.m. and he has been charged with 1 count of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. And I'll take questions that you have on this.
Please make sure to identify yourself by name and outlet.
Dana Train, the Times-Union. What were the circumstances of the argument, or the why was this shooting occur?
You have to understand we have some limited information in this. We haven't been able to fully communicate with the victim. So we a lot of the details that I would normally be able to tell you as far as what led up to it and everything, I don't have that information.
Do you have any general sense? Or?
I believe it was an argument of some kind. But
What
I don't know the details.
What is her condition?
She is stable but critical.
Can you provide her name?
I'd rather not, because this is going to be she's the daughter of our victim,
Right.
but she's actually involved in a domestic violence relationship with our suspect, and that's the reason why I want to hold that information back. They actually have 2 children in common, the suspect and
The suspect
our
and
second surviving victim.
They have 2 children?
Yes.
Where are they?
They're with family, the victim's family.
Any further questions?
From Channel 4, did they all live in the home in this apartment?
Yes, they did. It's a small apartment. You had Mr. Underwood, his wife, who was not home. You then had, of course, our victim's daughter, who was present with 2 children. But yes, they all lived together in the apartment.
2 children, and the boyfriend also lived there?
No, the boyfriend lived at another apartment.
Gene Wexler from WOKV. So Todrick Lee was initially not arrested as part of the investigation, and then later when you spoke to the victim, he was arrested?
Yes.
Any additional questions on this? All right.
Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about, the suspect is going to be Alvin Kenneth Welch, W-E-L-C-H. He's a black male. He's 35 years old. Our victim is Joshua Andrew Hines, H-E-I-N-Z. He's a white male, 31 years old. On January 5th, patrol officers responded to an injured person call at 11,009 Santa Fe Street North. When they arrived, the victim was found with friends conscious, but he was unable to speak with us. He had a head injury, and that's the reason why he couldn't talk to us at the time. The victim was transported to a hospital and later died at UF Health. We learned that the victim had some friends over to watch the football games, and as the evening came to a close, there was an argument between our suspect and the victim over the way that the suspect was slicing some barbecue meat and also in the process of taking a meal plate home. The suspect was asked to leave the house, continued to argue. The suspect picked up a baseball bat and struck the victim in the head, which basically caused him to collapse. The suspect was arrested this morning at 2 a.m. and charged with 1 count of murder. And I'll answer any questions that you have on that one.
Tim from Channel 4, what is the relationship between the suspect and Hines?
They know each other. They may have run into each other maybe 3 to 5 times. They had mutual friends in common. So I would term the relationship as being acquaintance.
In the initial report, there was, I'm sorry.
I had another
Go
question.
ahead,
I have
go
a
ahead.
few actually.
No.
So how did you guys determine that he was the suspect?
When the incident happened, we did have other people in the house. It wasn't just the suspect and the victim inside the house when this happened. There were other people there that were there to watch the football game as well. We basically came forward and gave us the information as far as what happened.
We were at his first court appearance just a few moments ago. He did not show up. The judge said medical, but he didn't go into detail. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't have any information on that. I didn't know that.
In the initial report, there was a report of somebody named Chico, I guess, who left the apartment. A witness told, that's what they told police. Was the witness the person who was arrested, or was there some other person who left the apartment?
No, actually, the Chico is going to be the suspect. That's a nickname.
That's a nickname
Yes,
for
sir.
this fellow, and so it wasn't the witness who stayed and provided information to police that after the.
Well, if I understand you correctly, was there another witness there at the scene?
There was a
who
witness
basically-
there at the scene who talked to police and said that, the victim was hit by the baseball bat that was normally kept by the front door, and that whoever did the striking left the apartment or left the residence.
Yeah, I mean, basically the suspect,
Right.
after the argument, hit him
Took
with a
off.
baseball bat and basically fled.
I fled, okay, that's
Yeah.
fine, yeah. Those aren't the same people, that's fine, thank
Yeah,
you.
now the witnesses are separate from.
Okay.
Does the suspect have a criminal background record?
He does. It's lengthy.
I'll get that.
Yeah, it's a lengthy, I mean, what I see is, there's probably 10 or 12 arrests.
Anything significant that you want to point out?
Well, you've got resisting without violence, aggravated fleeing or attempting to elude, possession of controlled substance. There's some traffic charges, violation of probation, felony battery, criminal mischief, false imprisonment, contempt of court, aggravated battery, theft, grand theft, robbery, and trespassing.
One more question. The aggravated battery, how recent is that?
I don't know
Okay.
that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Gene Wexler, WOKV, just, I need you to repeat, that they were arguing over the way that the victim was slicing meat, and then there was one more thing that they were arguing
No,
over?
it was the way the suspect was actually slicing barbecue meat
Okay,
and actually preparing a meal plate to leave, and that's what the argument stemmed over.
okay,
The victim did not like the way the barbecue meat was being sliced.
okay.
Taking some Russ Fine to the Action News, was he taking too much, or he's cutting it wrong, or what?
I believe it was an improper cut.
Really?
Yes.
Any further questions? All right, thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you.